Hello friends, and welcome to a chat from the engineering desk. I've got a photo up on the screen of the sensor on the encoder which we have been playing around with this week. So over here you got the disk, which has got the lines visible for the commutation signals, and there you can just see the beginning of a line. And over here we got the A and B pulse lines. Now this encoder for 360 degrees produces a line count of 4,096 lines, or 16,334 edges. It's 4 times 4096. Now you may be asking yourself, how can this row of lines around the disk be 4096? And the answer is it isn't, it's less. Because let's have a look at the sensor itself. Look at this array of dots over here, which is slanted. So as the lines above cast a shadow over it, it's going to be at an angle. So you're going to be covering these dots sequentially as the line moves across the sensor like this. It works like a vernier, and that is effectively going to be multiplying the number of line count, the number of lines, the counts that you're getting from these lines over here. They're doing it on the sensor over here, which works like a vernier, and that's where it produces a fine resolution, is actually on the sensor. So if you were to have that amount of lines on the disk, it would actually look more like this. But in order to make a disk easier to make, rather than trying to print that many lines on the disk, you do it on the sensor, and here is where you produce your resolution, because you can produce a sensor with very high resolution, and that's what they've done. So the sensor has got on the edges the marker pulse detection, which is all those dots that have to line up at once, and it says good, that's 0 degrees. And then here is your individual sensors for your commutation signals. It's a 6-pole motor, so you're producing your three phases of commutation signals 120 degrees apart for each phase. And that's more or less it regarding the sensor. I also wanted to talk about this over here and how they produce a high line count. It's done on the sensor. Some very clever stuff. I photographed it with a macro lens, so that's what it looks like. You can see all the dots. Very clever stuff. Like I said in the last video, the encoder technology has become quite advanced, and they're doing a lot on the sensor these days, becoming very clever. So thank you for joining me here this morning and having another look at the encoder, because we're not quite done with it. I want to see if I can get it working, seeing as it is still a working encoder. Solder some wires onto it and play with it. But I thought that before we get there, we hadn't quite concluded looking at the sensor, which is a very interesting item. And there it is. So thanks for joining me here for the short talk this morning. I wish you a wonderful day further, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, and we'll be seeing you for more. Thank you. Cheers.